Welcome to the Somatic Enneagram podcast. We're excited to introduce how the work of Marion Gilbert can change the way we live and move and are able to be in the world. I'm Aaron Maines.
And I'm Caryn Berley, and we're your co-hosts for this podcast. In this first season, we're talking about the Somatic Enneagram with our teacher and founder of the Somatic Enneagram, Marion Gilbert. Listen in to get your burning questions answered, like, will you start by pronouncing your name for us?
Oh, I love that one because I usually say, you can call me anything, I'll listen to it. It's just a name, you know, and I'm not so attached to it.
Learn the backstory of our teacher, shared in a series of intimate conversations with her students.
You know, I've always had a spiritual inclination, even as a child, being interested in humans and how we live on this planet and where animosity and war and famine and how come all this stuff is happening here. I always had a very keen interest in wanting to know more about that. So from there, I just went to high school and physical therapy school, and yet in the whole 4 years of school, I haven't heard anything about what healing is. You know, nobody has even asked the question, nor was it explained. What is healing? And what are the obstacles to healing, you know?
Yeah.
And I would drove my professors nuts with these questions because they couldn't answer it.
The healing question is such a deeper question.
Yeah, and it has continued through the 40 years or 45 years now that I've been a physical therapist this year, has continued to give me so much insight in myself and the healing process, how miraculous it is, and how we are in our own way of healing ourselves. And you know that the obstacles to healing are the same as the obstacles to spiritual experience. There's not one hair of difference in it.
Hear about her personal journey that led to a deeper understanding of her own type and about the human body and its connection to spirituality.
I also was an athlete, so I did a lot of movement stuff. I did yoga at the time, I did meditation. And no matter what I was engaged in as a young age, I would want to make it happen, want to give it the juice that I felt it needed in order for something to happen. Not knowing that it was my little ego pushing really hard against boundaries that were lying beyond my capacity. Yeah. So that was a long road of slow but steady, always seeking, you know, the parts of the healing modalities that would incorporate the spiritual. And it's like, you know, what we are being taught in Christianity, that the body is sinful, the body is lower, and it doesn't have any intelligence. And even in the Enneagram world, we see that, yeah? That whole bottom center wasn't fleshed out with any kind of reference to, you know, the intelligence that's actually operating in that belly center that is not separate from spirit at all. It's not just the higher heart and the higher head. There is a higher body. Yeah. And to have all three centers, you know, experience that came first and foremost from my own lived experiences.
Listen as we dive into what the Somatic Enneagram has to teach us about working with reactivity.
The Enneagram is a system, and it's extremely useful for people who seek another way of being and another way of getting to know oneself as well as the people in their lives and the world around them. So the important thing is that we need to understand that the Enneagram itself is a vehicle to really learn to relax the reactivity of the type structure. And the type structure is a three-centered awareness. It's not just the body. However, the root of the arising of these patterns and the fuel comes from the somatic and the felt sensations of your body. And they are always happening in the present moment, even if they come in as an association with a memory from the past. The moment they happen in your body, they're happening now, even though you're not in danger. And the patterns, according to the Enneagram, are psychospiritually, but also somatically wired.
What do you imagine could be possible if more people understood the Somatic Enneagram and the principles that you use to work with it?
You're freeing yourself from having to go into an automatic reaction of pain and suffering and then defending it as if your life depends on it. And that creates wars. So the ultimate capacity is to sit around the table with the opposition and begin the conversation. That's difficult. And yet, if we learn how to work with this fueling that you can interrupt, and the pattern begins to soften, and receptivity opens to the world around you, to the people in it, that allows for the conversation, the dialogue to begin and hopefully to complete.
The Enneagram today, as most people know it, is a nice conversation about what types people are. If you're looking for more than that, if you're looking for a true way to work with your type, to hear from a deeper wisdom, to learn how to be contemplative and come into contact with the deepest parts of yourself, the Somatic Enneagram is the guide that has offered all of this to so many people all over the world through the work of Marion Gilbert.
We hope you'll join us for Season 1 of the Somatic Enneagram podcast. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and get ready for full episodes coming July 26th, 2024.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and it was my honor to be here with you.